Sound of gentle ocean waves, maybe a distant seagull. Have you ever looked out your window and seen something that just completely changed your life? Well, that's exactly what happened to Queenie, the one and only queen pink shark of the shimmering seas. Now, Queenie wasn't your average shark. For one, she had 2 feet, perfect for strolling along the seabed and admiring her coral gardens. She was a respected queen, known for her wisdom, her kindness, and her frankly fabulous pink hue. But one afternoon, as she peered through the periscope of her royal submarine palace, she saw something that made her fishy heart skip a beat. Sound of bicycle bell dinging. On the sun-drenched boardwalk above the waves, humans were whizzing by on these incredible 2-wheeled contraptions. They were called bicycles. They looked so free, so fast, the wind in their hair, big smiles on their faces. A thought sparked in Queenie's mind, a thought so bold, so audacious, it almost made her gills flutter. "I want to do that," she whispered to her royal advisor, a very serious crab named Sheldon. Sheldon, polishing his shell with a piece of kelp, nearly dropped it. "Your Majesty? A bicycle? But we're underwater. You're a shark." With all due respect, it's highly illogical. But Queenie's mind was made up. "Sheldon, logic is just a suggestion. Get me a bicycle." So, a custom-built, waterproof, sandproof bicycle was commissioned. It was a magnificent thing, shimmering pink just like her, with seashell-shaped reflectors and a coral handlebar. But wanting to ride and actually riding were 2 very different things. Sound of wobbling, a comical splash and bubbles. Queenie's first few attempts were, let's say, a disaster. She wobbled. She weaved. She fell over, sending up clouds of sand. She crashed into a particularly squishy sea cucumber, who was very gracious about it, all things considered. The other sea creatures would peek out from behind rocks, giggling into their fins. Sheldon just shook his head, muttering about the dignity of the crown. "I can't do it," Queenie cried, sitting on a rock, her beautiful bike lying in a heap. Just then, an old sea turtle named Titus, who had seen more tides than anyone could count, slowly paddled over. "Patience, Your Majesty," he said in his slow, creaky voice. "You didn't become queen in a day. You don't master the bicycle in a day either. Look ahead, not at your feet. Feel the flow of the water, don't fight it." His words resonated. Queenie got back on. She looked ahead at the distant kelp forest. She pushed off, and this time, instead of fighting, she let her body move with the current. She wobbled. But she didn't fall. A few more pushes, and she was gliding. It was the most exhilarating feeling in the world. From that day on, Queenie practiced relentlessly. Before the sun rose, she was out there, pedaling through the silent canyons. She learned to do sharp turns around rock formations, to pop a wheelie over sleeping starfish, and to skid to a perfect stop right in front of her palace doors. She wasn't just riding anymore. She was dancing with the bicycle. She was a professional. Upbeat, exciting music starts. One day, a flyer, printed on a giant waterproof leaf, floated through the kingdom. It announced the annual Tour de Trench, the biggest underwater bicycle race in the ocean. The grand prize, the legendary Golden Conch Trophy. "I'm entering," Queenie announced. This time, Sheldon didn't object. He just handed her a polished helmet made from a nautilus shell. The day of the race was electric. Barracudas on sleek, silver bikes, octopuses on custom 8-pedal machines, and even a team of speedy swordfish were all lined up. And there, in the middle of it all, was Queenie, calm and focused on her shimmering pink bike. Sound of a loud starting horn, frantic pedaling, and cheering crowds. The race was a blur of fins and bubbles. Queenie was incredible. She drafted behind a giant manta ray on the straightaways, navigated the treacherous jellyfish junction with nimble grace, and pedaled up the steep Mount Mariana with a power no one knew she had. In the final stretch, it was neck and neck between her and a notoriously arrogant marlin named Spike. Spike tried to bump her off the path, but Queenie, remembering Titus's words, used the current to swerve and then shot forward with a final burst of royal energy. She crossed the finish line a full fin length ahead. Sound of huge cheers, triumphant music, the crowd went wild. Queen Pink Shark, the shark who dared to dream of riding a bike, was the new champion. As they placed the golden conch in her hands, she didn't just see a trophy. She saw the wobbles, the falls, the laughter, and the quiet determination. She looked out at her cheering subjects and held the trophy high. She proved that it doesn't matter if you're a shark, a queen, or just have a crazy dream. If you look ahead, practice with patience, and aren't afraid to fall a few times, you can do anything. Even win a bicycle race at the bottom of the ocean.